Welcome back, Savages. Tonight we're talking spiritual awakening. So this is a fun little, I don't even know what to call it.
I don't really know. It's kind of one of those things where
it just kind of showed up because the government listens to everything that we talk about.
Yeah, and a lot of people in the psychic and paranormal community have been talking about this a lot lately. Mm-hmm. Anybody that follows any of this kind of stuff, I'm sure you've heard about the veil thinning throughout the years. There's an increase in paranormal activity. Mm-hmm. There's an increase in both demonic and not demonic paranormal activity. More UFO sightings, increased abilities. People who didn't have abilities are now having abilities.
I think a lot of it changed, like, through COVID.
That's about when... Yeah. 2019 is about when this new... I don't even know the right word, but this new awakening, I guess, started.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it started through COVID because not just, like, us, but, like, the entire world was on shutdown.
Yeah.
And nobody had anything else better to do. So here we are with people who are ordering tools for the paranormal, books, seances. I feel like a lot of it was because people were bored. They had nothing better to do. I've even seen an influx in, like, the people who are now into witchcraft and, like, paganism because people were, on the internet all the time and reading books, and all of a sudden people are like, oh, hey, that relates to me.
Yeah.
And now...
And you didn't have to worry about being accepted because everybody was in their house.
Right. And now, and you have that where people were meeting up through, like, social media and, like, over the internet where they could be themselves. They didn't have to get out of their comfort zone, and now all of a sudden you have covens popping up everywhere. You have an increase in people who are becoming paranormal investigators. And you have all of these people who were like, well, I am apparently a psychic, and all these people are coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, and with people being at home so much, now you've got more people who their house could have been haunted previously, but they just didn't really put any thought into it. But now that they're in their house 24 hours a day, they notice things happening more frequently.
I mean, there was, like, those YouTube videos and stuff that were going up of all of those people that were in quarantine, and all of a sudden they're like, yeah, my animals are acting strange. There's things moving in my house. Like, what's going on? Is my house haunted? And, here we are.
Yeah.
So we came before COVID, though?
Yes.
Pretty sure? No, it was after.
Well...
You came before COVID. We started after COVID.
Yeah. So no matter which way you look at it, everybody has a theory. There's the numerology side. There's the astrology side. There's just the plain old spiritual side. In numerology, the reasoning that they came up with is because 2025 reduces to the number 9. The number 9 signals the completion of a cycle, emergence of new energy. It's a year of manifestation. There's a whole lot that goes with the number 9. I don't know a lot about numerology. I'm just kind of starting to dig into it. Mm-hmm. The 9 energy is one of leadership. It kind of symbolizes overcoming personal challenges, which goes with the whole transformation thing.
Right. Well, everybody says the year 2025 is going to be a whole big, because Trump's back in the office and all that stuff that's going on with Russia and Ukraine and all of that. People are leaving the United States.
Yeah. Bye-bye. If you go down that rabbit hole.
No.
I was reading all kinds of stuff about all the predictions for 2025. And,
well, the Mayan calendar predicted that we were all going to go kaput in the year 2000, and we're still here.
We're still kicking. Yeah. There's this one guy in particular who I went back through some of his predictions for 2024, and the vast majority of them came true. And he's got some pretty wild predictions for 2025.
Oh, yay.
So we'll see.
I get my predictions from The Simpsons because so far they've never been wrong.
Right? They're always right. I like to read the Nostradamus predictions. Those are pretty cool.
Those are terrifying.
They're pretty cool because they're pretty much spot on.
I know. That's why they're
You have
terrifying.
to decipher them, though, and that's the fun part.
That's too much for me. No. I want like one of those, like how they have the farmer almanacs.
Yeah.
I want like one of those spiritual almanacs where you can just open it and be like, this is what's going to happen. We're good. Close the book. We're done.
Then there's the Chinese astrology.
Again, with the Asian culture, I will not ever brush them off because they're really good at spiritual predictions and whatnot.
They are, and they know things that I don't want to mess with because I don't want them to send anything at me. Thank you. They've got some pretty mean stuff.
Oh, yeah.
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 No thanks.
No.
But 2025 is the year of the green wood snake. Supposedly the green wood snake, never heard of it, but whatever. They hold deep wisdom, and they are a slow, methodical, mysterious creature. They're focused and calculated in their movements, which they say making 2025 a year to embrace patience and intuition.
I have zero patience for anything.
No. They represent transformation, transition, healing, and making shifts in both personal and collective consciousness, which leads into the next one where the spiritual world says that we are all in the process of going into a greater consciousness.
Well, I mean, they've always had like movies and TV shows and like books, and even scientists have said that the whole reason like for the shape of the heads on aliens is because their brains got bigger.
Yeah.
Because of all of the knowledge and everything that they were able to do, and how they have a lot of like telekinesis and like psychic abilities. And that eventually one day we will all have that.
Mm-hmm. And that's what they're saying, that this is leading up to.
I don't want a big head.
I don't either. But it probably wouldn't happen for generations down the line.
That's true. I don't want my kids to have a big head, or my grandkids.
No, you really don't, because ouch.
I don't want my grandkids to have big old domes.
Well, but then it would be normal. If you didn't have a big head, you would be weird.
That's true. Oh, good. Then my kids would fit into society. But you'd still have the cliques, though, like the big popular-headed kids. My head's bigger than yours.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah, because using that logic, the bigger your head, the more powerful you are.
It's either that or you have a lot of, like, knowledge, but you're still stupid. Like those people that are, like, you're street smart and book smart.
There are some people out there that say that this is just the beginning of a process that could take, I forget exactly how long. I want to say it's like somewhere between 5 and 10 years. I know that's a big range, but I forget exactly. But it's supposed to like kind of kick into overdrive now and continue to increase, and the veil's going to continue to thin. The level of consciousness is going to keep rising, and then it's going to hit a peak, and that is going to be like the new normal. And they say it also relates to the sun cycle, because we're going into another cycle, and the solar flares and all the storms are going to help us to level up, so to speak.
I mean, I'm not a sciencey person, but I'm pretty sure that solar flares and whatnot are not good.
Yes and no. They're really not, but that's what it is. Solar cycle 25.
Oh my
is at
God.
maximum power between 2024 through 2025. It's set to peak starting like now. And it's supposed to be one of the strongest over the past 100 years, which is going to kind of kick everything into overdrive.
Yay, we're going to have more house calls.
Hopefully. I like that stuff. That's fun.
I don't...
I like all the big places because those are fun for...
Fun for the whole family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun just for the sake of doing it and learning.
Right.
But I like the house calls because there's actually a purpose to it.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of things are changing just in general. You have a lot of people who are no longer opting for, like, burials. Mm-hmm. Everybody these days is being cremated.
Yeah. Or trees.
Exactly. Or trees, which, if you believe in reincarnation, mm-hmm. you have that person who's made into a tree. Their essence of that tree is put out into the world.
How does that work with reincarnation, though?
I mean, a tree is a living thing.
Right, but could you come back again if you're already in a tree?
I don't see why not. It's just your ashes.
But I don't know. How much of your soul would be in that tree, though?
I have a feeling my tree would already be, like, decayed and black leaves. They'd be like, oh, that's not a good tree. Cut it down.
I want to be a black rose bush.
You get groups of people who mm-hmm. are just, okay, this is what I can do, this is what I can do, this is what I can do. And then they all become friends. You get them together, and then they're all doing a bunch of things. Mm-hmm. And again, that becomes the whole, well, now we summoned this. You guys can deal with it. But then what do these people over here do? Which then we come in, and they're like, okay, this is how we fix all this stuff. How is all of that going to factor in with everybody's abilities growing? Like, because you still need to have the skeptics.
Right.
But then what if they have abilities? So then does that still keep them as a skeptic, or does that put them, like, in the gray area of, well, I can do this, but I don't know how it happens, but I believe that it happens, kind of thing?
From what I've gathered just from reading, not everybody is going to have abilities. It's only going to be the select few that are, like, light workers. I mean, you can go far down this rabbit hole, and if you go far enough, those are the only beings that are left on Earth.
Here we go.
I don't know how that works, but it comes back to there's this good versus evil that's been going on forever.
Right.
But it's ramping up now to where there's going to be even more good versus evil, and the light workers are the ones who are going to have their abilities increase to help fight the evil, so to speak.
At some point in the near future, we're going to have ETs.
Yeah. Well, we do have increased UFO sightings and visitations, and that kind of goes along with all of this as well. That's what is ramping up over the next few years. We're supposed to have a huge influx of sightings, and I don't know how I feel about that, but
we've always had this idea that one day we're going to be visited by, like, creatures from other worlds and whatnot. We already have the conception that it's already happened. We have all those videos. We have all the scientists that have done those things. But we have the other people who are like, no, they're actually going to come here.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to them. We're going to see them. And then everything for us changes after that.
Yes. And there is, I know we did a podcast about this Project Bluebeam before. But there are things out there with the Project Bluebeam that say the government is working on this big display that is going to happen in the skies where it's going to be like an alien invasion, and they're going to have Jesus come save the day. They're going to project him coming down to save the day, blah, blah, blah. And that's how they're going to get the masses to assimilate into religion. But there is, in the next 5 years, in all of these predictions with the awakening and stuff, there is supposed to be some big thing happening in the skies. Could it be related to the blue beam thing? Could it be, just something that somebody's predicting? Could it be the star seeds that got their information from their star family that said this is going to happen? I don't know, but there is a general consensus that something is coming in the years to come.
I mean, they've always talked about how eventually humanity is going to move on to other planets, but who says it already hasn't?
Right.
We don't know that. We haven't really been to, I mean, we have been around other planets, but I don't think we've actually been to other planets. We've had robots that have been to, like, Mars.
Right.
And we've gotten pictures of, like, Jupiter and Saturn and all of that stuff. But who says that humanity isn't already on another planet? They just adapted to that planet because it's all we are is adapted. Like, all we do is adapt.
Right.
Things change, we adapt.
Right. That's what any living creature does.
Mm-hmm. So the whole spiritual awakening thing is just us adapting to what's coming.
Yeah. We're just adapting to the, 5D that they say. Well, that's what some of them call it. The fifth dimension is where we're entering. It's definitely coming. I have said that for a couple of years, that the paranormal activity has definitely been increasing year by year by year.
Yeah.
We had a spell a couple of years ago where, I know we always say not everything's demonic, blah, 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 but a couple of years ago, pretty much everything that we came across was.
But again, that goes back to with everything being shut down and people reading books and thinking that they're going to try things. Mm-hmm. That doesn't ever come out good for anybody.
No.
And I think a lot of, especially with what's going on now, I think a lot of it is people opened doorways that can no longer be closed.
That's entirely true, because unless you know what you're doing when you open these lines of communication, you're just waving a big flag going, come on in.
Right. Exactly. And I think with people are now, like, they're dividing.
Yeah.
Instead of coming together to try to help fix the solutions or fix the problems and find solutions to what we've got going on, people are dividing. So here, at some point, we're going to have, okay, these are all of the spiritual people. Mm-hmm. These are the non-spiritual people. What do we do now? Mm-hmm. Like, where do we put people? Are we going to start just, separating people? Or is it going to be like a Harry Potter situation where you're like, oh, you're a wizard, you come with me, and then you never see your family again because they're not, magically inclined.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's part of the problem with what is going on in the world, because I'm going to get in trouble for this, but it seems like the government is purposely trying to divide people for that reason.
Oh, yeah.
And I think a lot of the spiritual community is feeling that. They're feeling shunned and pushed away. And when all this develops, who's going to be the one left standing?
Exactly.
I would like to think it's going to be the more spiritual side, because we're going to be more powerful in a sense.
And what does that do in the long run for humanity? Like, what are we going to become after that?
I don't know. I probably won't be around to find out, but I'll be hunting.
I don't think I want to be around to find out. I mean, it makes me think about how all these people are, like, building compounds. Mm-hmm. I feel like at some point the world is going to be nothing but just compounds of people.
Right.
Okay, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, and then it's like, okay, well, you can't talk to these people because these people did this to our people. And it's just going to be one of those whole big things. Instead of the spiritual community coming together as a whole, everybody's going to be fighting over, well, I can do this, well, I can do it better. Okay.
And I can't help but think we're going to have a whole new Salem witch trials all over again.
Oh, my God, yes. Because then you're going to have the religious groups and the spiritual groups, and they're just going to go...
That's not a pleasant thought.
No, it's not. I mean, because we all know what it was like. Well, not personally, but we've read stories and everything about the witch trials.
Right.
And how well that went. We all know that it didn't go well, especially for the women. And that's the thing, too. It was always women.
Yeah.
It was never men, because men could do no wrong.
Right. And there's just as many men in witchcraft as there are women.
Yeah. But with women, they're known to be the mother, the healer, those things. And they're automatically the first ones to be persecuted.
Using the logic that they used back then. It should have been the farmers and such were persecuted because they were the ones creating everything.
I think we're going to have, like, and everybody talks about, like, World War III. We're going to have Salem witch trials times 2. Except this time it's going to be on, like, a lot bigger number, because you have the shops that are everywhere that sell candles and books and crystals and all of that stuff. It's not hidden anymore. It's open.
Yeah.
So then you're going to have those people that are rated, and crystals are now going to become like a, here, give me $20 and I'll,
Yeah.
you're doing.
You're going to be selling crystals on the corner.
Right.
Yeah.
And, people that get spell books and whatnot. I mean, we have a bunch of them for a lot of the investigations that we do, for the research that we do. Who's to say that they're not just going to come into your house like they used to do and just start taking the books that are, considered,
witchcraft.
Right. And just take them away.
I'd never thought about that until we actually started talking, and I was like, yep, I can see that totally going into... Could this awakening and shift and all of that go the other way, where, I mean, not that we would burn people at the stake, but
well, I don't know.
Could it be to where the witchcraft people would actually come in and take over, because it seems like there's getting to be more of us than there is them.
Right. Yeah.
So would you be shunned if you weren't in this group? Maybe that's where this is headed? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, because we do see a lot of people that are Jesus. We are seeing a lot of people leaving religious groups because of
the hypocrisy,
the abuse.
Yeah.
Especially towards children still.
Yeah.
But we're seeing a lot of people Why can I not say that? We are seeing a lot of people leave religious communities because they're finally realizing they're being abused, they're being brainwashed. There are things happening that shouldn't be happening. I mean, look at, take the Duggars, for example.
Oh, yeah.
That 19 kids and counting thing. A lot of the girls in that show have decided that they don't want 19 plus kids. Like, a lot of them have changed their hair color, got piercings, got tattoos. Some of them wear jeans. Good God forbid they wear jeans. And a lot of them have 2 kids, and they're like, okay, we're done for now. They're getting on birth control. We're seeing a lot of those religious cult-type groups. Their children are finally realizing that they don't have to live that life, and they're getting out of it, but they're being shunned now because of it, and they're having to live on their own and, figure out how to be an adult and whatnot, and they have no idea what they're doing.
Right. Because they were sheltered their whole lives. They were abused most of their lives.
Yeah.
And they're in a whole new world having to learn who they are and how to survive.
Yeah. And I think that's going to become a whole thing, too, with the spiritual awakening stuff, is people aren't going to know what to do when they first start realizing that, you can see dead people. I can feel dead people. I can sense dead people. They're not going to know what to do. And they're going to try to turn to somebody, and they'll be like, oh, well, we can't do this.
Yeah.
It's not okay. It's not allowed. Or you're going to have the other aspect of it of, oh, well, that's a Satan thing. You can't be part of our church anymore because this happened. So then, again, we're divided.
Yep. And then you have the other side where the people are going to start to see and hear and feel these things, and they're going to be told, here, take this medicine, it'll make it stop.
Right, exactly.
You're crazy. Here you go.
We're coming back to being, and I guarantee that most of it is going to be women, because women are hysterical.
Yeah. Yeah, it does seem like the more we progress, the more we're going to end up falling back into the way it used to be.
That's going to be a whole big thing.
I don't like that.
No.
This was supposed to be a cool look what's coming podcast, and now it's
I ruined it because I had to be a skeptic and I had to give my thoughts on things. That's usually how it goes. But I mean, you have to look at it from both sides. If you want to jump into this whole thing like head first, you have to know from both sides what the possibilities are that could happen.
It just sounded really good when I was watching other people talk about this, and then I was reading about it and talking about how the abilities are going to increase and people are going to be more accepting, and we're going to, come together, and this is going to be a good thing, and the veil's thinning, so you're going to be able to experience more things.
Right.
And I was all on board except for the A words.
We're all going to be aliens at some point.
We are to them.
Well, that's true. Yes.
But then when you sit and you think about what all this actually means for humanity, it gets a little scary because, I totally see us going backwards.
We're all going to be back in the ancient times.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're predicting that at some point the whole grid is going to go out, and then we're going to be no cell phones, no electricity, no Wi-Fi, no computers, no electric cars. We're going to be back in the Stone Ages.
Right. And, not only the grid, you've got all the terrorists and the cyber attacks and the World War III. That's going to knock life as we know it out anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all going to be back to starting all over again, which is why the people have the bunkers and...
A lot of people are doing that, though.
Yeah.
Eventually, we're all going to live underground like rats or moles.
Well, because the sun's going to get hot and hotter and hotter and hotter, and you come above ground, your skin's going to fry off. But...
Exactly. I think that's how this whole thing eventually is going to evolve.
Aren't you glad you watched this uplifting, happy podcast?
I thought it was entertaining.
It was entertaining, yes. Totally did not go the way I thought it was going to go, though.
My bad. Everybody stay safe. Well, if you're in Ohio and whatnot, weather's crap.
Snowstorm out the wazoo. Okay, bye.
Bye.